leads it prevents the most shots in the conference. They allow the fewest. So it's going to be very interesting to see which of these styles prevails today.
And we are officially underway. Family weekend here in Flagstaff as NAU Soccer wraps it up on this Sunday. NAU Athletics 3-0 on family weekend so far as women's soccer looks to make it 4-0, but a large task ahead of them in the Vandals.
This Idaho team started the season with 10 goals in 5 games, and since have stumbled to, 10 goals in 6 games, and have since struggled, only scoring 5 in their last 6.
Hard tackle there as Farley hit the ground. That was Matson, Logan Matson, the stellar center back for NAU, playing in that 3 at the back. NAU kind of playing a 3-5-2 formation they've gone with. They started this year with a 4 at the back like they usually have gone in the past seasons. Kind of shifted to 3 in the back as the Vandals, they go that standard 4-3-3 formation for them.
Yeah, and that formation battle likely to benefit the Vandals as you can match up 100% with the 3 at the back. You have even numbers, and if somebody in the midfield can make a run, that's a very dangerous position to find yourself in if you're NAU.
Advantage played there, but they keep it with the Vandals. Sprague. Right now the Vandals controlling possession early on, but here comes Josie Novak. Got the start tonight. But the Vandals, and you mentioned the Vandals, they don't give up a lot of shots. They kind of drop back in that defense, not afraid to kind of bring all 11 players, all 10 outfield players back deep into their own half to kind of clog up the offensive area, that attacking third for their opposing teams.
And the other thing that they do very well to prevent those shots is they hold possession for a very long time. This is a team that's very patient, won't take shots that they don't feel they can convert on, so they're going to be able to hold possession in the midfield.
Lasher, leading goal scorer for the Vandals. Trying to work it in. You can see a lot of blue jerseys near their own box as well. Hamilton taken away by Grace Quinn. Grace Quinn playing that kind of left wing back, left mid position, looking up ahead for Day Williams, overpassing. Day Williams, Mikhail Johnson getting the start at the front like they did last match. And we talked with Coach Barrios after the last match. He kind of likes those combinations up front. He says Mikhail and Day play well together. They link up well together. So often if you see one of them come out, you'll most likely see the other one come out, or Mikhail Johnson will drop back to her usual midfield position.
Yeah, but Coach Barrios really, something that the Lumberjacks were struggling with prior to conference play was figuring out that attack and figuring out where everybody fit in that puzzle, who worked well with who, and he's very much opted to just let the players who work well together stay on the field together. So we might see 2 or 3 different attacking duos hit the field today for NAU.
It's so hard to get the ball off the talented freshman, but the Vandals recover and play it out.
Great patience there by Ott. I know it didn't resonate in anything, but she did a great job there of holding up play and just not settling for a shot that likely would have been blocked before it got all the way to the goal.
And now Logan Matson will take the throw-in. The athletic defender often goes for that little flip throw as she gets it there and deep into the box. Good elevation and headed away. Donaton keeps it in play. Centers it back in. Williams now on it. Sprague intercepts that one out of play. NAU right now keeping the pressure on, and it looks like Matson will go and take another flip throw. August 21st, the last time the Vandals allowed a goal, 10 shutouts, and roll that one deep in the box and headed over. It'll be a corner kick.
And that a very dangerous situation. I'm not sure whose head that hit, but seemed like someone just didn't quite realize that Vitet was going to go for the ball there. Now we see NAU crowding the freshman goalie.
Schaefer will take it. A goal for her in the last match, 72 minutes against Eastern Washington. She swings it inwards, punched away by Vita. Good hand there from the freshman.
Yeah, so far showing why she is at the top of the leaderboards in just about every statistical category. NAU so far doing a good job of holding up play, allowing the game to flow a little more naturally, not settling for shots so far.
That one deep in the box. Williams there. Sprague heads it. And then punched over the bar by Vita. Quick reactions.
Yeah, and that looked like it fell to Abby Donathan. Not the first person that NAU would like to have taken that shot, but you're not going to get many better than this. You just see the crowd coming in, Mikhail Johnson too, and Donathan might not have just been able to get all of that.
So Schaefer will send in another one, in swinging on that front post. Headed up. Novak battling for it. Johnson falls to Williams. Now cleared out. Jalen Borden will run onto it. A missed pass there as Lasher takes it. And now, right now, the Vandals have a chance to run players forward. 4 of them streaking. One on the far left side. It's going to be Farley, but not going to be able to get on the end of that one as Corcoran rushes out.
And NAU has to be wary of just how quick that counterattack can come. Like I said, 3 at the back versus 3 up front. You notice immediately that that's even numbers, and that's something that NAU needs to be wary of.
Schaefer. And a great tackle there by Jade Sprague, the sophomore. Such an impressive kind of holding defensive midfielder.
And slowing down Maddie Schaefer is no easy feat as we move to the keys of the game today. For Idaho, they scored, as mentioned earlier, they scored 10 goals in their first 6 games, but have since struggled, only scoring 5 in their last 6. So they need to pick it up offensively. With the offense struggling, they need to park the bus. They need to make sure that NAU's not going to be able to score on what few chances they get. So they really need to make sure that this stellar NAU attack does not get up and rolling like they can. NAU, it's pretty simple. They need to capitalize on their opportunities. Idaho gives up just 4.4 shots per game. That's, you can do the math. That's not much. That's not easy. So they need to make sure that whatever shots they get are good shots, and they need to make sure that they have the ability to finish them.
Hanks trying to get on the end of that one. Couldn't do so. NAU leads the Big Sky Conference with 21 goals. Just a little under 2 goals per game. As, like we've mentioned, Idaho just allowed 7 goals all season, allow half a goal a game.
And the final key is NAU needs to put early pressure on Idaho, and so far they're doing a great job of that. We saw that exchange in the box.
That one falls to Schaefer. Schaefer never afraid to let it fly with that powerful left boot of hers. Donathan trying to get into Johnson as Peters knocks that one away. Lasher now. Some room to run in front of her. Gets tripped up. And there's the whistle.
That's a little bit of a late call. I thought Josie Novak did a great job there of tracking back and putting the pressure on Lasher, making it so that she had to make a decision quickly. And if there was a foul there, I think it needs to be called earlier. There wasn't much of an advantage to be given to Idaho.
Cassidy Elliker will stand over this one, leads the Vandals outfield players in minutes. Played this season over 1,000 for her. Has started every match. Sends that one towards the goal, but over everyone's head and out of play.
So far, pretty even game. NAU did a great job early on of pressuring that Idaho goal. They've had a couple opportunities, but nothing that ultimately is going to put them ahead.
Nice. Backheel flick. Got some applause from the crowd there by Schaefer. Now she makes the run to the middle. Has Quinn on her left. Trying to find Williams. Making that run across. Donathan. Quinn gets it. Top of the box. Lets it shoot. Punched away. Diving to her left. Vita. Good save.
Yeah, and that's why Vita is regarded as one of the best goalies in the Big Sky. Grace Quinn getting the first real opportunity for this NAU team so far. We see a flubbed clearance, and then Quinn has the chance to settle, keep her balance. But you're not going to beat a goalkeeper like this outside of the box very often. It's going to have to be a very high caliber shot.
These two teams 3-3-2 all time against each other. Last year, the Vandals won 3-1 on their home pitch, thanks to 2 goals by Jaden Hanks and 1 by Margot Schessler as well. Madison Montgomery scored 1 late for NAU to put him on the board, as Vita has no issues dealing with that one. Manzo played the full 90 minutes in net for NAU, as Avery Fox was in goal for the Vandals. 5 saves, 1 goal allowed for her. Madston. Donathan. And for the run of Johnson. Peters now. Lasher trying to run on the end of that one. Curran fighting with her, not able to fully clear it, but a whistle and a foul there, as Maddie Lasher will pick up that one.
Yeah, and again, I'm not sure if I would have called a foul there. I think Curran went for the slide under her own power, but this official just wanted to make sure there's no nonsense early.
Idaho, the only team in the Big Sky Conference without a loss or a draw on their record, 4-0, sit atop the table, as they have won every conference match by a score of 1-0. Ott missed that one, and then Borden plays it off her, and now the Vandals have some room to run, as Quinn read that run, tracked back well on that left mid, left wing position. She ushers that one out of play.
That was a great showing by Grace Quinn. We normally a left back in the 4 at the back form, but today getting a little bit of a run in the left mid, really showing why she is a defender with everything on that. The box out was picture perfect. The run back and the way she read the attack, absolutely great job there by Grace Quinn.
And she was working against reigning Big Sky Offensive Player of the Week, Margot Schessler. A goal versus Montana, a penalty kick to win it late in the match. And then last match against Northern Colorado, her shot ricocheted off the right post and then fell to Annika Farley, who put it away. The game-winning goal in that one for Idaho. Sprague battling with Schaefer. Schaefer comes away with it. Now Novak. Closed down quickly from behind. And now a free kick opportunity for NAU in a promising position.
Yeah, we know Maddie Schaefer has a dangerous left boot here as we see this foul. Yeah, Looks like they just get tied up a little bit there. We know Schaefer has a dangerous left boot from here. And we know Josie Novak is less than afraid to let this shot fly.
Novak leads the team with shots and shots on goal, 36 and 16 respectively. And Schaefer, powerful left foot, likes to try to curl it into the top left corner from these positions. We'll see who attempts it. Schaefer into the hands of Vitta. Good pace behind it, but not too much movement from Vitta in that.
Yeah, it looked like Schaefer might have just misplaced it. We know how dangerous she can be on those set pieces, so don't expect Idaho to have that easy of a time stopping those from now on.
Vitta, the freshman goalkeeper from Germany, leads the nation with those 11 shutouts, 10 shutouts in a row dating back to that match against San Diego State. Has tied the Big Sky single season record for shutouts as just a freshman and still has 3 matches after this one to try to break that record and hold it herself.
And, you know, she's holding the shutout right now. We could see a record-breaking performance today.
Matson heads that one into the box. Donathan comes up to clear it. Farley looking for the run of Foster, but Foster not making it. A deep throw in for NAU. We'll see if the Vandals try to push forward.
This Idaho team not known for their pressing. Try to keep the shape compact on defense.
Good ball into the middle as Foster was trying to run onto it, but another impressive play by Donathan to keep her off it.
Abby Donathan so far, maybe through these first 20 minutes, has been the most crucial player for the Lumberjacks. They've done a lot of great things on this right wing, and just another normal wingback playing in the midfield spot today.
That one falls to Schessler, lets it rip, but closed down quickly by Josie Novak as that one misses the mark.
And we've harped on it before, but Josie Novak's defense has really transformed her game this year, as now she's settling into more of a central attacking midfield role sometimes. And the ability to track back that she's frankly developed in the offseason is huge.
NAU shouting for a handball, and that one not going to get it as Lasher's going to run onto the end of it. Borden in front of her. Good tackle by the ASU transfer. Curran tries to play it away, but it falls to Schessler. A little Meg there as she sails that one.
Yeah, and maybe not expecting to get the opportunity and then just rushed it. You see here the Meg probably just overthinking at that point.
Hamilton, San Diego native. Cut away by Borden. As Novak hits the floor there and draws the foul. We're just about 20 minutes through this one in Flagstaff. No score yet, as that's the case with most Idaho matches. Not a lot of scoring, but a lot of good soccer being played, or football, depending on where you're from or how you refer to it as.
One thing you do mention that Idaho has had relatively low scoring. NAU, their games have all been decided by who's in the Big Sky, by who scores first. They lost to Weber State 1-0, proceeded to beat Idaho State 1-0, and then just this Thursday topped Eastern Washington in a 2-0 showing.
And you putting the press on. Johnson pressing high. Schaefer comes. A nice turn there from Peters. Kern jumps in the way of that pass from Foster. Good touch from Johnson trying to turn, but Elliker right on her back. Novak. Getting by. Hamilton now into the box. Has some options in the middle. That one's deflected by Schessler. And another corner kick for NAU. And excuse me, no, she got there in time. I believe the ref pointed to the flag, but he was pointing out of play. As Quinn will take this throw in. And a couple substitutions early on here as Kayla Shebar and Ali Velaz will check in, as it looks like Avery Ott and Day Williams will check out. So Johnson will drop back into that midfield, and like we talked about, another attacking duo coming in for acting head coach Alan Barrios.
And Velaz and Shebar really changed the pace of the Eastern Washington game just a couple days ago.
A foul there on Novak on the throw-in.
But Velaz is so dangerous in her composure and her pace, as we see here. Yeah, no argument there. Looks like Novak just runs into her, and it's going to be a foul, I'd guess 10 times out of 10.
Just went through the back of Sprague there. But NAU, that 2-0 victory against Eastern Washington, thanks to a goal from Maddie Schaefer off an assist from Ali Velaz, as Matson hits the floor there. Hanks closed down quickly, though, by the rest of that NAU back line. But Schaefer scored a goal off the assist from Velaz, and then in the second half, in the first half, right before halftime, as Shebar intercepts that one and then misses the mark. A huge opportunity for the sophomore Kayla Shebar, who's just checked on her first touch.
Yeah, and man, that's a opportunity that NAU is going to look back on later and not be too happy with. As we see the misplayed ball, Shebar just has to put a little more curl on that for it to find the back of the net.
And a tight angle, but definitely a scoreable angle there. But I was talking about we mentioned the electricity that they brought onto the pitch. The second goal for NAU was an own goal caused by a cross from Kayla Shebar. And right on cue, she intercepts that one and gives the Lumberjacks their best chance so far.
These two new strikers, with their pace and with the energy that they bring, very dangerous. Idaho has to be aware of where Ali Velaz and Kayla Shebar are at all times. And both of them not particularly goal-oriented. Both of them will look for whatever the easiest way to score is for their team.
Shebar, 1 goal on the year. It was to tie it 1-1 in that match against Air Force, that eventually the Air Force won 2-1 at the end of the match, a last-second goal. And Velaz, 2 goals, 3 assists on the year. The Long Beach City College transfer, her first year in Lumberjack uniform. Idaho switches sides of the field, but Peters got caught up on it, and now it's given the Lumberjacks an opportunity to run. Schaefer, Velaz on the right side. Shebar in the middle. Schaefer making a run, but defended well and taken away there by Elliker.
Elliker doing a great job there. That's where Ali Velaz is at her most dangerous.
She now sends Hanks on a run. Matson chasing her down. Going to get there in time and play it off of Hanks. Such an impressive play, but they point the other direction. Excuse me. That one will stay with Idaho.
And you hear NAU not super happy with that call. May have taken a deflection off of Matson after the clearance. I don't really have an explanation other than that's a missed call.
So the Vandals keep it deep in NAU's third. 1-0 win against Northern Colorado in Greeley in their last match. Last Sunday, haven't played in a week. Sent across by Lasher, out of play. Lasher tied for 7th in the Big Sky. 3 goals this year, a number of goal scorers around 3, 4 in the Big Sky. 4 assists as well, tied for 2nd. And 2nd in the Big Sky, 10 points, only behind Maddie Schaefer. Hanks battling on that far side. Schessler, nice feint there, whips it into the cross. Into the box, excuse me, as Corcoran catches that bullet.
Yeah, Trinity Corcoran, her first real test of today. And there's a reason she's won that starting goalkeeper position. Was in a position battle earlier this year, but has proven to Coach Barrios and her teammates that she belongs in net.
They started the previous 6 matches, 2-1-2 record in those matches. Has played the full 90 minutes 7 times this year, did it 0 times last season as a freshman, and leads the team with 5 shutouts, which is good for 7th all-time in an NAU season. Currently 2nd in the Big Sky with an 84 save percentage, only behind Vita with 86%. Lasher able to stop that one, keep it in play, and keep possession. Peters whips it into the box and take a dangerous bounce. Corcoran gets on the end of it as Borden, a big collision in the center. And I believe that's Foster who was making that run across the middle before she took that hit.
And you like to see the sportsmanship there from Corcoran.
Excuse me, that was Farley who was making that run, the goal scorer in the last match. Velaz. And we'll have our first substitution for Idaho as Kylie Hummel will check in, the sophomore from Duncanville. St. Mary's transfer. Came off the bench last match, 20 minutes played. This is her 10th appearance this season. As Hanks will take a breather. Shebar looking for Schaefer in the middle, but who else but Sprague is in the way to intercept that one. Tough touch from Matson as it rolls out of play.
Yeah, Matson just bounces the wrong way off her leg.
Not a much better day you can ask for here in Flagstaff for some soccer on this fine Sunday. A little bit of a chill in the air as we approach fall weather. Leaves on the trees changing. As Hummel making that run on the far side, going down the end of it. That ball took a couple deflections, and they will award the goal kick for NAU.
NAU's defense so far doing a great job. Idaho has had a lot of possession. They've worked the ball up, but the composure of that back three and really everyone on the field in defense has been really impressive.
That Lumberjacks back three of Borden, Curran, and Matston all played the full 90 minutes last match in their 2-0 victory over the Eagles of Eastern Washington. Mikhail Johnson, the only other outfield player for NAU to play the full 90.
Two of those players converted center backs as well.
Blas looking for Novak. Schessler seems to be everywhere as she jumps in the front of that pass and that center back trio. Jalen Borden last year at ASU. Logan Matson last year played that midfield position as Vita able to handle that cross there from Velaz. And then Riley Curran, who's been a rock in this NAU defense. This is her 51st career start as a Lumberjack. Started all 18 matches last year. 13 matches, 12 starts this year for the senior. You can see how high pushed up NAU is as they don't allow a pass back as that one gets over the head of Curran. Lasher now 1-on-3. There's a good deflection there and recovery helped defense from Borden.
Yeah, we saw Riley Curran miss the header here, and then Borden able to slow down the attack to the point where Lasher has to rush a shot to prevent herself from being triple teamed. And Lasher's not a very easy player to slow down in that front. You mentioned second leading point scorer in the Big Sky behind just Maddie Schaefer. Another storyline coming into this game. Battle of the Maddies in the midfield.
Both of them with 4 assists on the year as well. Schaefer just has 1 extra goal to put herself in front of Lasher.
That goal coming off a beautiful Ali Velaz cross.
That one gets over the head of Reyes, but rolls harmlessly out.
Something to point that I think is worth pointing out is the size difference on Idaho's defense versus NAU's offense. Crosses are not going to be NAU's friend today, most likely, especially ones that hang in the air and allow any defender or goalie to get there.
Elliker standing about 5'8", Reyes about 5'10". As right on cue, Reyes clears that one out. Shebar about 5'2", Velaz about 5'5", so a noticeable height difference, like you mentioned, between those 2 center backs and the 2 attackers for NAU right now. Another whistle there against NAU.
Something we were noticing pregame that I also think is worth pointing out, partner. A lot of Idaho fans in attendance today.
Good amount of Vandals have made the trip. A few Arizona natives on this Vandal squad as well. Matson has to play that one back to Corcoran. Hummel closing quickly, but able to clear it away. Mia Zubiate, Hamilton High School, and Chandler. As Vita goes far back, clears that one right in front of the crowd. Almost gave a fan a take-home souvenir. Along with Rebecca Reyes, the starting center back. Another Hamilton High School product.
You think that souvenir would have gone for as much as an Aaron Judge home run ball?
If I had to guess, I'd say maybe a little bit less, but in the same ballpark. Matt's another flip throw in there. Avoids everyone and finds the hands of Vita.
By same ballpark, do you mean they're paying with the same currency?
Most likely they would have to give it back to facilities they could, yes, use it again later in the match. Good build-up play for the Vandals here. Hummel. Nice turn, has some room in the middle. Lasher. Hamilton. Matson able to get on the end of that one. Nice turn by Schaefer getting around Sprague. Sprague working hard to get back. Schaefer will slow it down. Quinn. Haven't been too many great goal-scoring opportunities in this one, but great tactical decision-making play between these 2 squads. Donathan crosses it towards the middle, and hesitation. Vita gets it with her foot. Cleared by Hamilton. Quinn gonna let it rifle from distance over the bar.
Field goal.
And it looked there for a second. I'm not quite sure who it was. It might have been Reyes or Eliker, but one of the center backs, it looked like, had a chance to clear it, decided to let it roll to Vita, who was not prepared, had to stick out a leg to deflect that one, and a couple substitutions now for the Vandals.
Yeah, we'll get a look here. Beautiful cross, nice and low. And yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Josie Novak's shot, not with the power that we're used to from her leg, but this NAU team certainly has had the better opportunities so far this game.
Sprague. Hamilton. Maddie Lasher has taken a seat with about 9.5 left in this first half. Get a breather.
Looks like we might get another NAU attacking pairing change.
As Kern gets whistled for that, going through the back of Hummel. Four fouls against NAU, 5 for the Vandals. As Burks, Afaro, and Yoshida Williams, those three to check in for Idaho. Corcoran able to deal with that one, and Coach Barrios wants her to go quickly. Has the speed of Velaz and Shebar up front, but defended well by Peters. And a couple substitutions, like you mentioned, it will be Willoughby and also Randall and Hunter. Hunter did not play in that last match against Eastern Washington, just her 7th appearance this year, as Novak and Quinn will check out. It looks like Donathan will go to that left side, play that left wing back position. I believe Hunter will be on the right side, and Willoughby will take over in the midfield. Peters. Pressed by the Lumberjacks. Matson. Johnson. Hummel. Good jump of the passing lane there, but it ricochets to a blue jersey. Willoughby, the freshman, Liberty High School product. As they try to send Yoshida Williams on a run. Curran able to get there out of play now. And we'll see how NAU recovers. Hummel in the middle. Schessler. Burks. Alfaro, top of the box, gonna take a shot, deflected. And doesn't have a chance to test Corcoran. Peters been active in this first half on this near side, playing that left back position for Idaho. And he goes fast on the throw-in. 6.5 remaining in this first half. A heavy touch by Shebar, and Sprague knows exactly when to dive in for the tackle.
Yeah, she's been doing a great job really preventing NAU from being able to make runs. Like a wall in front of the wall that is Idaho's defense.
And NAU really tested this week with a couple of highly talented, deep-lying defensive midfielders. Sprague in this one, Kem in that last match for Eastern Washington, the back-to-back first-team All-Big Sky midfielder. Sprague leads the team this year, 20 shots, 15 of them on target, but it's been her physical play that's really set the tone for the Vandals this year, as she's on it now. Peters, 73 minutes in that match against the Bears. Eliker, reigning defensive player of the week in the Big Sky. Yoshida Williams now Nice move to get around Johnson. Hamilton looking for the run of Schessler over her head as we're 40 minutes through here in Flagstaff. 0-0 score. My partner, Will Hopkins, I'm James Malamus. We appreciate you tuning in here on ESPN Plus. Of course, every Big Sky match this year can be streamed on ESPN Plus. No goals so far, but some good opportunities and definitely intriguing soccer to watch. 18 shots between these two teams, 10 for NAU, 8 for the Vandals. 7 saves for Vita in net, 4 for Corcoran. Hunter, Johnson, Sprague coming up quickly from behind.
NAU has to be very careful of a cross to that back post. As Maston cuts one out there.
Willoughby, the freshman, did not play in their last match. Had to start before that one. Velaz trying to get around Peters. Gonna play it back. Logan Matson, senior defender, deflected there by Hummel.
Great job there by Hummel. Really read that play and just stuck out a boot at the right time.
In that last match against Eastern Washington, NAU played what looked like, at least here in Flagstaff, their best link-up and passing game of the season as Shebar gets around Reyes. Reyes recovers. Schaefer in the middle, and Bitta somehow gets a hand on it to push it wide.
Looked like it might have also taken a deflection off of an Idaho defender. So now NAU with a corner kick. We see Shebar, the deadly pace. Schaefer, yeah, puts it right off of that far side defender. And man, there aren't many better saves that we've seen out here.
And she just gets her fingertips on it. Schaefer, third corner of the match. Reyes gets her head on it.
And one thing you'll notice as we pan this field, there are no Idaho defenders outside of their own half. Every single one of Idaho's players went back into the box for that corner kick.
Looking for the run of Hummel. Matson gets there. Hunter heads that one on to Velaz. Shebar ahead with her. Schaefer, 4 assists on the year for her. Willoughby takes a shot from distance right into the chest of Vita.
Yeah, and that's not a shot that's going to test Vita. It's very NAU had the numbers. They had a little momentum moving forward. I'm not a fan of that decision from Katie Willoughby.
Vita, the German, just a freshman. Scary to think that the Big Sky is going to have to deal with her for 3 more years after this one. This impressive back line and defense of Idaho. Idaho, fewest goals allowed in the Big Sky, 7, but they're 7th in saves. That means their back line doesn't really allow the opposition to get shots off too often, as teams will have to settle for those long ones like we just saw from Willoughby.
Yeah, and NAU already tripling the shots allowed from Idaho in this game.
1 minute remaining.
Shot it 12 times with 9 on goal. Vita just 1 away from her career high in saves.
Has been active in this one. NAU has outshot their opponents 241 to 130 on the season. They've outshot every opponent individually except for one in that match against Weber State, which they lost 1-0 2 matches ago. Under 30 seconds remain. NAU trying to push forward. We'll see now if the Vandals can make a run with time winding down again. In college, no added time, injury time, and a new rule this year, no extra time either. The match will end as a draw as Schaefer has it, has the ability to let it rip, gets it off, and then he hits the bar and it stays out. Velage tries to put it in. Johnson over the bar and the horn sounds.
Wow.
And the best opportunity of the half comes in the final seconds, and somehow NAU stays off the board.
And there's a conversation here between the official.
Are just about set for second half action. It should be a fun 45 minutes at Lumberjacks Stadium, Northern Arizona. Now moving from right to left as the Vandals going from left to right. Shebar has stayed in to start the second half along with Morgan Caslin. So it looks like Ali Velaz has come off for that duo partnership, and Morgan Caslin has joined Shebar up front. Yoshida Williams still in the match. Excuse me, Yoshida Williams not in the match any longer for Idaho.
Very pacey front pairing still. Caslin, a lot more of a driving force in that attacking third. Likes to get straight to the net. Not quite as cross-oriented as Ali Velaz, but still a very dangerous player, especially with the pace that she possesses to get behind that back line.
It appears like the Vandals have their starting 11 back out there on the pitch. 13 shots for NAU, 10 of them on target. 9 saves for Vita in net. 8 shots for the Vandals, 4 on goal. 4 saves for Corcoran, 2 of the top goalkeepers in the Big Sky. And the top 2 in save percentage. Here is Caslin, the Flagstaff native freshman, getting her first touches of this match. Working on that far right side. You can see how many white jerseys are in the box. Caslin on it again. Johnson. And Day Williams got the start. Played about 21 minutes, went to the bench, and we have not seen her since, not starting in the second half, and we did not see her start in the second half or even appear in the second half of their last match. Just 30 minutes played for her, all coming in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, a little surprising from the second leading shooter in the Big Sky. But Coach Barrios, like you mentioned in the first half, talked to us about how he wants to rely more on these pairings that are experienced with each other.
Nice pass there from Schaefer between the legs of Farley. Got some oohs and ahs from the crowd. Caslin, top of the box. Gonna let it rip. Hit that one, though, and send it wide.
Yeah, you gotta think about what is actually going to challenge Vita. And while Maddie Schaefer's goal was from well outside the box, it was a terrifically hit ball. You're going to get maybe 1 out of 20 of those to go past this German wall.
Shebar keeping the press on, had that humongous opportunity in the first half, a wide open net getting around Vita, but just couldn't put it on target. And his back three has played the full 45 plus some additional time now, as Idaho's back four has been in every moment as well. Hamilton, one of the 4 on the ball now.
And NAU has had a really hard time breaking down that back 4. Like I mentioned, they've let a lot of shots fly from distance because they know how hard it is to beat any one of those players in any situation, let alone 4.
Hanks battling with Johnson. Matson steps up to clear it, but a foul first on Jaden Hanks. That's the 6th team foul against Idaho.
sitting here, that looked like it was more contact between teammates than anything. Yeah, that's maybe Johnson gets forced into Matson by Hanks, but I don't fully agree with that call.
NAU, a Big Sky, leading 22 goals now on the year, as they average 20 shots per game. Quinn tackled there and a whistle, and I believe they might have played advantage. Yeah, they got
going to be advantage.
Schessler on that first one.
Yeah. And you can see there, that's not who the foul is against. That's where the foul occurs. A little grab of Grace Quinn. And Annika Farley will be upset, thinking that's against her, but ultimately that was a foul, and I think a good advantage played there.
Quinn will step over this one as the Lumberjacks will get jerseys forward and bodies into the box. Good ball, chested down by Reyes and then cleared away, and now Idaho has a chance to run 2-on-3. Hanks, Lasher with her, Schaefer tracking back well. Schessler. Ott. Contact from behind. Schessler goes down, no whistle as we play on. And head referee Chris Greer has been busy in this one. Shebar gonna get by Sprague. And then there will be the whistle as just a quick foul there to kind of stop transition play, and Sprague picks up the yellow card. That's her third and team leading third yellow card of the season.
Yeah, and Idaho, not a particularly physical team. They're not going to pick up a whole lot of yellow cards. I believe that's just the 9th on the season for them.
So Quinn will step over it again. Reyes yet again up to the task to clear that one. And we'll see. Yes, she will jog over. Logan Matson will take the flip throw as NAU will try to get bodies into the box.
And we're seeing Grace Quinn drop back to make up for the missing center back as Matson comes forward.
Great shot there as the flexibility and also the strength in the core and the legs and all parts just to get that one in. Nice cross there from Matson. No one making a run, however. And now we'll see if the Vandals can maintain some possession and kind of get into NAU's third a little bit.
We're seeing Kayla Shebar and Morgan Castellan putting the pressure on this back line.
With the interception, and after their victory against Idaho State, Maddie Schaefer said their game plan was kind of get on the board early, score a goal, and then kind of park the bus. We talked with Coach Barrios last match after their 2-0 win against Eastern Washington, and he said at halftime we talked about just continuing to play our game and execute our game plan. We don't have to worry about trying to quote-unquote park the bus too much, and it looks like right now they've gone up 1-0, but they're still playing that high-pressure, attacking football.
Yeah, but Idaho's just going to get more and more desperate as that time ticks away. You have to be – I love the sentiment of playing your game through the whole 90 minutes, but the reality is eventually this Vandals team's going to have to throw the kitchen sink at you.
Castellan trying to get Castellan trying to get around Elliker, but Elliker – such an experienced player, the sophomore. Played in just 5 matches last year as a freshman, now leads all outfield players for the Vandals as Castellan will take a seat. Velaz will check back in to join Shebar in that partnership.
And these two players, despite having very similar skill sets, have two very different ways of playing.
Nice turn, gonna test Vitta, but Vitta up to the task. 10th save for Vitta. already third in Idaho history for career shutouts with just 12 Kareems played. We'll see now if Vandals can push forward, kind of maintain possession, and then use half and cause some havoc for that back line and Corcoran in net. Schessler, Sprague, Peters. The Vandals not afraid to swish sides of the pitch and get those wingbacks involved. Schessler crossed up. Matson gets her head on that one. Schaefer looking to send Shebar on a run. She's going to do so. Reyes trying to get there in front of her. Will do, and just clears out of play. Good defensive play there from Rebecca Reyes, the Chandler native.
But Kayla Shebar there causing some havoc in that back line, getting the opportunity to just run onto it and putting enough pressure there. And it forces a poor clearance or a throw-in this case.
Novak re-enters for Shebar. Schaefer, Quinn crosses that in, but not a blue jersey in sight in the box for the Lumberjacks.
And they're happy to let that go. Partner, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe we haven't seen a striker partnership of Ali Velaz and Josie Novak.
No, I don't believe we have. Novak, like you've mentioned, kind of drifted back into that midfield position as of late, has that strong boot, physical player. But we'll be interesting to see how Velaz and Novak link up as the front two. Battling with a pair of Vandals. It falls back to Kern. He's going to clear it down for Velaz. Try to let her run onto it. It'll roll out of play. Novak first in the Big Sky with 36 shots on the year. Season high 62 minutes versus San Diego earlier this season. Lasher tripped up by Matston. Lasher has been held in check in this match. The junior leading goal scorer, points getter, and assist leader on this team. Excuse me. Haven't called out her name too much in this one. It's played about 48 minutes. Nice touch there by Schessler, making it look easy, telling her team to make a run. Hit that one and sent it wide.
Yeah, and that's certainly not the area she was pointing to. I love seeing that field general kind of, in just about every sport, just someone who points. And you see Patrick Mahomes and Lamar Jackson do it, scrambling out of the backfield. You obviously see it in soccer every now and then. It shows somebody who really understands how the game is flowing.
Just an architect on the pitch, as Novak trying to link up with Velaz. Reyes has made some big plays here already in the second half. Velaz sprinted about 15 seconds of sprinting for Ali Velaz there, chasing the ball on the back line.
That's why you train at 7,000 feet, James.
Indeed, Flagstaff sitting 7,000 feet in elevation, and a advantage played, and then a foul there against Maddie Schaefer. Eight shots for the Vandals. They average about 10 per match, as Quinn misread that one. Hanks on the end of it. Has some help in the middle. She'll receive it back now. On sides. And then cleared off of Ott. And a corner kick for Idaho. Their first of the match coming about 14 minutes into the second half.
Yeah, now Idaho really feeling like they're starting to push things more forward. We see how many players are forward for them right now. There are only 2 outside of the NAU box, not counting the goalkeeper, of course.
Peters. High kick into the slight breeze here in Flagstaff. It falls to Hanks for a moment, but Novak talked about that physicality, just rumbling, tumbling through, making sure Hanks does not get a shot off there. Hanks 2 goals last year in their lone meeting against NAU. Hamilton crosses that one in, headed away by Matson, and then a foul and a little collision there at the end. A little push from Schaefer, and her and Hanks share some words.
And our official, Chris Greer, trying to talk to both of them, get this game under control. Don't have a replay, but, or we do have a replay. We'll get to see this. That's a clear foul. The whistle goes off, and I think Schaefer jumping that late. There are better decisions to make than that.
Tightly contested matchup so far. Lone goal, that 45th minute screamer from Maddie Schaefer with 2 seconds remaining in the first half. Hit off the crossbar and then dropped in behind the line before bouncing out of the frame. Hanks, the only returning Big Sky honoree from last year's Idaho team, was an honorable mention. And a big swing there from Schessler. Made contact with Novak, but that one goes off of Novak. Idaho throw.
I do like Schessler there, going and checking on Novak, following it. I think that was a clean play, but nonetheless, injuries do happen.
And a dangerous ball across the middle, intercepted, but Matson able to give the Lumberjacks some time to recover. Johnson. Quinn, eyes up, looking for the run of an attacking player and finds Velaz. Reyes on her back. Nice turn, trying to get around. Goes through Reyes and no whistle, shoulder to shoulder, as it'll be a goal kick.
I thought I might have seen a little grab of Velaz here, as we see here, and that's got to be at least, contact begins outside the box, so that has to be at least a free kick.
Johnson just misses that one, but Donathan's right there to cause the turnover. Don't really see that too often from Mikal Johnson, someone of her experience and skill. Second-year grad transfer from NC State.
This front three of Schaefer, Velaz, and Novak really causing some problems for this defense, not just in terms of keeping them away from the goal, but in terms of keeping them away from the ball.
Big collision on this near side between Borden and Hanks. Physical play right now in Flagstaff.
And Hanks clearly not afraid to put her body on the line. Just doing whatever she can to put her team in a position to tie this game up.
Schessler stands over this one, whips it in. Corcoran rushing and a two-hand punch there from NAU's goalkeeper. Peters on it. Gonna let it fly, but skies that one.
And great job there by Trinity Corcoran. Keeping the composure, realizing that I just need to get this out of here and prevent a good shot from getting off.
Schessler, on that free kick. One of 2 Vandals to win Big Sky Weekly honors this past week. The second time this year that Idaho has swept the Big Sky Honors. Her along with Elliker along that back line. And the official pointed the wrong direction for a moment. Pointed Idaho's way and then gave it back to NAU. As right now both teams just battling for possession right around midfield.
Partner, if I may, I'd like to take a second to talk about Big Sky preseason poll this year and the chaos that we've kind of seen ensued. Picked to finish first was Northern Colorado. They're currently sitting near the bottom of the table. And on the other side of things, Idaho, who's currently sitting in first, was picked to finish fifth. So this is a very closely contested conference. And when the trip to Greeley, Colorado does come, it'll be it's going to be very hotly contested, which just speaks to how important it is to get a first round bye, which both these teams are currently contending for.
Gott gets taken down by Sprague. Sprague already on a yellow in this match, has to be careful, and she's aware of that.
Yeah. I do like helping your opponent up. It looks like she even tries to catch her. I don't think that's a malintent, trying to slow her down or anything. I think it's just trying to, she knew the foul had happened and she's just trying to prevent any further wrong landing and such.
Quinn's free kick misses the mark, and you mentioned any of their next matchup going on the road to Greeley to take on Northern Colorado. Then another tough test right after that one at Montana, as Hummel and Burks will re-enter the match.
Full disclosure, by trip to Greeley, I more so meant the Big Sky tournament at the end of the month.
Yes, that is also the location of the Big Sky tournament taking place November 2nd.
That's my mistake. I should have been more clear.
No, you're fine. Top 6 teams make it to the tournament. 9 teams in the conference. Montana State does not have a soccer program, as Idaho returns home to finish off this season. 3 home matches against Portland State, Sacramento State, and then Eastern Washington to wrap it up. Their next home match will be their first home match since the 25th of September, almost 3 weeks to the date when they play since their last home match.
And NAU, it looks like they've shifted to more of a 3 up front, letting Velaz and Schaefer play the wings and putting Novak in the middle. Looks more like a 3-4-3 as opposed to the 3-5-2 that we've seen in recent matches. If you look at this defensive shape, 3-4-3 more fluid is the word I'd use. It's a little more, a little easier for the attacking build-up to go through just about anywhere. Whereas in a 3-5-2, you really force it up the middle through your 5 central players. NAU going to try to utilize their pace if this is the formation they're going to roll with.
Whistle and foul there against Ott. Team foul number 7 against NAU, 9 for the Vandals. As we're over 20 minutes through this second half. Vandals have scored a goal this season as they're looking for a goal to even it up here in Flagstaff. Hummel on the ball, nice tackle by Curran. We'll see if NAU can get some numbers in transition. 6 white jerseys back, 3 blue jerseys. looking for the run of Schaefer. Pass a little heavy. Schaefer able to keep it in for the time being. Able to retain possession, and then the line judge on the assistant referee, excuse me, on that far side said the ball did cross the end line, so it will be a goal kick.
Coming in for the Vandals, number 8, Hannah Alfaro.
As Hannah Alfaro re-enters the match. And the game winner hero of the last match, Annika Farley, will take a seat.
Coach Clevenger likely just trying to get some rest before a final push. Trying to find something in this midfield that can reignite.
Hanks stumbles a bit. Schessler. Hummel able to get back on sides and able to get to that one before it goes out, but it just falls to Borden.
It looked like some players might have thought that that was out. It's now NAU in what appears to be a 4-3-3. Moving to that 4 at the back, trying to protect this lead. Might even be a 4-3-1-2. As these three attackers, Novak, Schaefer, and Velaz, have all kind of shifted through all three roles. They're in a rotation.
And a whistle and a foul there as Hummel draws that foul. Josie Novak having some words with the head official. And Burks, the junior, 1 goal on the year. Started the first 2 matches of the year. Stands over this one. Burks goes around the wall. A good header there from Kern. Partially cleared. Burks back on it. Thought about it. Now she'll do a low-driven drive, and who else but Kern yet again on that one. Velaz shades the sun for a moment to try to capture that one, taken away.
Beautiful job there by Riley Curran. Twice reading where the shot was coming from and doing everything she can to get between the attacker and the goal.
NAU 16 shots, 11 shots on goal. It's been a much more midfield battle here in this second half. NAU just 3 shots, Idaho just 2, as we have 19 minutes remaining. Hamilton. Intercepted by Quinn. Trying to, I believe, find Ott, deflected, taken away, and Coach Clevenger telling his team to go, try to push forward. Borden jumps in the way of that one, and that one finally gets into the crowd. Had about 2 other ones come near, but never fully getting in. That one does. Nice back heel from Hummel to Schessler. Hummel, near side, Schaefer in front of her. Her and Schessler have connected well in this second half. And then off the volley, but sent over the bar. And we'll have our substitution. Dave Williams will re-enter for the first time in a while. Just played 21 minutes in that first half, coming in for Josie Novak.
Coach Barrios likely trying to use the speed of Day Williams and Ali Velaz against this back four that's been tough to crack.
Borden, Schaefer, Madsen, Curran, Donathan, Johnson have all played every moment this match for the Lumberjacks. Trying to send Schaefer on a run now. Reyes gets in the way of that one. Hamilton, Peters, Elliker, and Schessler for Idaho have not come off the pitch. And Ott tries to test Vita, but the German stands tall for her 11th save. Matson hit the floor on that one as Hummel tried to get around, but Curran has her teammates back as she covers and clears.
That's the second time we've seen Maston slip on this turf.
Seen a couple bodies hit the floor. See two more right there, but some of them not caused by contact. As Donathan stays down for a moment. One of the players that's played every moment for NAU. Idaho's just gone 4 deep in their bench. They went 8 deep last match against Northern Colorado.
And it's a semi-new setting for this Vandals team. You know, we talk about how they had shut out everybody for 6 weeks coming into this game, and now all of a sudden they find themselves trailing.
On a 4-match win streak, all 4 of those by the score of 1-0. Their streak of 10 shutouts in a row has come to an end here in Flagstaff thanks to the goal by Maddie Schaefer, and Velaz will get whistled for the foul on Hamilton.
Still a chance to keep that unbeaten streak alive, that 10-match unbeaten streak, as we see here. The hesitation, Velaz certainly does hit that left leg.
That free kick, dangerous, loose, as Corcoran couldn't make contact. That time, she gets her fist to it and punches it away.
Beautiful layoff there.
Schaefer
Williams
to Velaz. Williams making a run across the middle. She's on it now, looking for some assistance. Ott and then Quinn, and he slows it down for the time being. Trying to get it into Velaz, but 3 white jerseys surround her. Borden will let that roll out of play, and a couple big opportunities there for Idaho. Corcoran trying to punch it away, did not make contact, ball loose for a moment in the box, but eventually able to get her hands to it.
That last attack is why Idaho has to be careful about what they put forward and what they leave back.
Turnover from Hanks. Johnson now, room to work in the middle, lays it off for Donathan. And ball far in front of her, had a lunge just to try to knock it off the Vandals player, and then it's cleared out by Elliker. Took a wicked bounce with some spin on it. That was going to go out of play for a corner kick. But cleared out for a throw-in.
Idaho has to be very wary of NAU's ability to build up play and the players they have forward right now.
Donathan involved again in that one. Keeps it in this time. Velaz crosses it towards the box, and Vita Active hands and ready to catch that one.
Yeah. Vita has faced, she now has a new career high in saves after today's game. What that number will end up being is yet to be determined, but at the moment, 12 saves, breaking her previous record of 10.
On 18 shots faced, 13 of those on target. Stoppage of play and a player down. Looks like it's Peters. She makes her way off the pitch. It looks like she may have a bloody nose. Peters been active in this one. The junior, 1 assist on the year. Has played the full 90 minutes 4 times this season and has not checked out yet, but it looks like she will have to head the sideline for the time being.
We hope we get to see a quick return, as it does just appear to be a bloody nose.
Back underway, Velaz with it. Deep in Idaho territory. Good ball to find Ott. Ott takes it herself through a crowd, deflected away by Reyes.
And if Reyes takes that touch even a little bit wrong, it likely takes a deflection past Kira Vitet.
That one finds the feet of Williams, who tries the, I don't want to fully say bicycle kick there, but little back flip kick, and it just goes over the bar.
Yeah, and that was impressive from Williams.
Long ball controlled now by Matson, and NAU 13 shots on target last match. Idaho limited Northern Colorado just 3 shots on goal all game. 15 shots total. As Hummel goes through the back of Donathan. 10 fouls aside in this one. It's been physical. Idaho looking to remain unbeaten in conference play, currently 4-0 at the top of the table. NAU looking to pick up their 3rd conference victory in a row and improve to 3-1. Last year, NAU ended the season on a 6-game win streak heading into the Big Sky tournament. Right now on a 2-match win streak with 5 matches remaining, including this one.
Yeah, this team does tend to, under Kylie Lowe, they've tended to go very tough for their out-of-conference schedule. Try and get as many top contenders in other conferences to Flagstaff, and you know, your record feels it, but at this point in the season, the Lumberjacks always seem to hit a stride.
Williams, nice move to get some space, finds Schaefer in the middle, went for the dummy to let it fall to Ott, but defended well by the Vandals.
Yeah, certainly a goal-saving tackle, as we know how dangerous Avery Ott can be from outside the box.
Idaho struggling recently to maintain possession in NAU's 3rd. But here is Hanks, intercepted by Borden.
Excellent job there by Jalen Borden. She reads where it's coming, but doesn't give up that inside shoulder. Very dangerous position to get to be playing defense there on the wing, as if there's a movement to the inside. All of a sudden, you're running downhill with a head of steam. So Jalen Borden taking that away, and then playing just well, just aggressive enough that she's able to get a foot to that.
Foster. Lays it off for Burks. Here's Hummel on the left side. Now was playing right earlier, battling with Matson, but strong stand by Logan Matson. And it falls off the touch from Elliker to Williams, trying to play it forward to Velaz. Wasn't quite making the run yet.
Yeah, and now we're seeing just 2 NAU attackers. Maddie Schaefer starting to drop back a little bit to help with that defense. This is the final stretch for the Lumberjacks in what's been an excellent defensive showing.
Velaz tries to flick it on to Williams. Burks goes down. And we've played 82 minutes in Flagstaff. 1-0 is the score.
And maybe a step on the back of the boot there.
NAU also very familiar with matches decided by 1 goal or even ending in draws. As last match, their 2-0 victory over Eastern Washington, just their second match all year when it wasn't decided by 1 or less. Their only other one, an 11-0 win against Ottawa here in Flagstaff. Cross towards the middle. On the back post, no one there as Donathan partially clears it. Still a dangerous position. Schessler, Hamilton. Johnson got a boot to it, and then Curran clears.
Great reaction there by Mikhail Johnson.
Williams with some room to run. Velaz on her right. Can she find her? She does. Pass a little light as Burks, good job tracking back the junior Western Washington transfer. Able to get her foot on that one.
This NAU team doing a great job of taking the opportunities that Idaho is giving them right now.
Ott. Johnson. She'll get her right back. Williams lays it off for Johnson. Good rush from Hamilton to knock it away.
And this is desperation mode for this Idaho defense. You mentioned how we normally see them put so many players back on their own side of half field, but right now they're letting their forwards stay up because they know that time is a commodity for them.
Farley, Yoshida Williams, and Peters re-enter for Idaho. Avery Ott will take her first break of the match as Sammy Matula, the Creighton transfer, makes her first appearance in this one. Good tackle from Donathan. Williams, so nifty on the ball. On the edge of the box now, trying to turn. Still on it. Donathan will cross it in. Over the head, but Velaz is going to be able to get on the end of it. And a meg through the legs of Hamilton there. As I believe that was Foster, came over with a slide tackle. Just able to stop the forward movement. Farley. Peters, who has just re-entered in. Corcoran looking to get her 6th shutout of the year. Over 85 minutes played tonight as Leiden Huber checks in for her first appearance today. Hamilton gets her first break. Looks like Huber will join the attack as the defensive player in Hamilton comes off. Over the head of Matson. Huber's first touch. Cross, back post, Schessler open, and misses the target on that one. Huge opportunity there to tie it up.
Yeah, we see Grace Quinn get a little stranded in the middle there. She's hanging out in a bit of no man's land. Schessler all alone will be very unhappy that that's the best she could muster in that situation.
6 saves for Trinity Corcoran, the sophomore from Corona, California, Santiago High School product. Schessler back on it, looking for the run of Yoshida Williams. She's going to get on the end of it. And then patient defending there by Jalen Borden, who didn't dive in at all and make contact, so it just rolls out of play. Goal kick, NAU.
Despite being listed as a forward, we see Jalen Borden's defensive instincts are really, really impressive.
That center back trio of Borden, Curran, and Matson have not come off the pitch in this match. Curran has that one dangerous into the middle. Alfaro, and then Donathan tracks back for what might be one of the plays of the match where it looked like a huge goal-scoring opportunity for Idaho, and then right away she gets back in the action and clears that one out. 2.5 remain in this one.
Yeah, we talked about how those two wingbacks are so crucial in the roles that Grace Quinn and Abby Donathan are used to playing and now getting to play a little more forward, but that defense is just so, their defense is just so stellar.
Excellent tackle from Johnson. And out of play, 2 minutes remain. The Vandals want to go quickly. NAU will take their time. NAU has not given up a goal in 2 matches in a row, trying to make it 3 consecutive shutouts. Rolls out of play, and Vandals gotta go quickly.
Yeah.
Miss header and NAU throw in.
Partner, I got to tell you, this gives me the feeling of that Air Force game that we called earlier this year for NAU.
NAU able to tie it up 1-1 against Air Force. A penalty opportunity with just minutes left for Josie Novak. Sent it high. Air Force comes down, wins a free kick near midfield with seconds remaining. And then off that free kick, a loose ball winds up on the boot of an Air Force player and winds up in the back of the net with just, I believe it was 3 seconds remaining. Air Force escapes with the victory. Crossed into the box. Headed, Schessler going to get on the end of it. Decides to take a touch before letting the shot go. And no deflection, goal kick might be the last opportunity for Idaho. 30 seconds remain. Again, no added time as Corcoran takes her time.
And we saw Sammy Matula, the substitute there, coming up huge.
A missed kick from Corcoran out of play, and the Vandals have it. 15 seconds remain, trying to go quickly. Yoshida Williams. 10 seconds, Schessler. Boarding, clears it out. No Vandal near it, and that's going to do it here in Flagstaff. NAU hands Idaho their first conference loss of the season. They dropped a 4-1, 9-2-2 overall, and NAU improves to 4-5-4, 3-1 in conference play, and it all comes down to that last-second goal in the first half from Maddie Schaefer.
Huge weekend for the Lumberjacks, topping 2 of the best that the Big Sky has to offer.